Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. And by the way, it is actually raining right now in Kisumu. Tomorrow is the D-Day, the 20th day of March 2023. Raila Odinga's date with destiny. Raila Odinga is expected to lead his supporters to State House, where they will be expected also to submit a petition to William Samoei Arap Ruto. And Kithure Kindiki has actually issued a statement that Raila Odinga and his team will not be allowed anywhere near restricted area, which means Raila Odinga and his team will not be allowed anywhere near State House. But Raila Odinga is scheming. William Ruto is also scheming. In this video, I want us to look at Raila's secret plans for mass action. What you need to know before tomorrow. Before we do that, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us begin. William Ruto was in Nandi County. Rigathi Gachagua was in Nyeri. Rigathi Gachagua was actually in Mount Kenya, where he offered prayers. William Ruto was in Nandis, again for prayers. But I've always told you that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. There is no way Rigathi Gachagua would go to Nyeri, his home birth. Then Ruto goes to Nandi, where he was born. Rigathi Gachagua going to pray in Mount Kenya, which is a traditional place for prayers for the people of Mount Kenya. Then William Ruto goes to Mount Kenya, to Rift Valley in Nandi, where Koitalel Arap Samoei was buried. You know, there's no coincidence. These guys went there to achieve certain objectives. And I want to ask you a question. Is William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua Christians, or are they traditionalists? That's something which really we will have to look at in future. But there is no coincidence that these two guys, Rigathi was in Nyeri, home birth, Ruto in Nandi. Rigathi went to the mountain where they offer prayers. Ruto went to Nandi, where Koitalel was buried. But let us not get into that. We all know that Ruto is actually scheming to stop Raila Odinga. Several things took place today which suggest their strategies of stopping Raila Odinga's plans. Maybe I need to do a comprehensive analysis, because, for example, in Kisumu today, we saw a group of youths who were paid by Tom Ojianda demonstrating in town, and they were repulsed. You saw the Nairobi business community in Nairobi. You also saw some kind of business community in Migori who are then repulsed. But what is Raila Odinga's plan for tomorrow? Because Raila Odinga must be scheming. And that scheming is actually secret. Let us look at a few things, what you need to know. Number one, there are schemes by William Ruto and his government to actually arrest some of the planners of this day. That's why, unlike the People's Assembly, where Miguna was the general and in David Ndi, this time around, Raila Odinga is not really showing you the faces of the people behind these demonstrations. During that time, David Ndi will address the press. Miguna would address the press, because I was actually with them. They would address the press most of the time. This time around, Raila Odinga is keeping to his chest the people behind, or the people planning for this. So which means Raila Odinga is really concerned about the schemes to arrest the people planning this. So the question is, how will they be able, these people who they are planning to arrest? Because let's say you wake up tomorrow, or let's say tonight, the police will go to Kalonzo Musyoka's home, surround it. Some will go to Raila Odinga's home, surround it. Let's say Babu Owino arrested, Gaucho arrested. You know, those are, in my view, those are the key players. Oledama, you know, Wajakoya, you know, Martha Karua, probably. Then how will they manage to stop those kind of arrests? Let's say Raila is arrested, then taken to Mombasa. Then tomorrow, as you will be, I mean, not Mombasa, let's say taken to Nyeri. Then he will be presented in court there tomorrow. Someone taken to Lodwa. Someone taken to Eldoret. You know, how will Raila Odinga supporters manage to split while at the same time plan to go to the CBD? So Raila Odinga must be having some secret plans for that. The other thing which is giving Raila Odinga headache, and I know he's planning something on that, is the Nairobi business community. You know, the truth of the matter is that, and that's why I told you about Ruto going to Nandi, Rigathi going to Mount Kenya. There's a plan to have the Nairobi business community to actually counter the Azimio protest. That's why today they were in town and the police never said anything about that. So how will Raila Odinga maneuver? Because let's say the meeting point is Jivanje. Tomorrow morning, Raila Odinga wakes up, his team wakes up, heading to Jivanje. Then you find, not even KICC, then you find the business community also waiting with their weapons. How will they be able to deal with that? Because the truth is, people like Mike Sonko were being facilitated to organize the Nairobi business community. So how will they be able? Who will take responsibility in case of a fight? Of course, you'll understand that Azimio already got their permission from Kithure Kindiki, while the Nairobi business community will not, but they'll be defending their business interest in court. So Raila Odinga, I'm sure, is scheming on a secret plan to counter them. The other thing which has been a bit confusing is the meeting point. And I think Raila Odinga has now made it clear that everybody will go to CBD and they'll converge at CBD, then walk from CBD to State House. The biggest question is, how are they going to meet when the government will be keen to disperse them? Because the government has said that they are not going to allow anybody in the CBD. I know the original plan was that you have people from up country travel at night, then in the morning they already created some designated places where these guys were going to converge. So they converge at specific places in the morning, then they begin the journey. So the question is, what will happen? And will they be able to walk easily to State House? Someone was telling me that Uhuru Kenyatta was probably a political scientist, that Raila Odinga planned swearing in ceremony. He never interfered with it. He just let Raila Odinga proceed, did his thing, they came back. The only thing which then happened was that the legitimacy issues came up. Probably that's what William Ruto might not want. And again, William Ruto would want to prove that he's totally different from Uhuru and from Kibaki. And of course, you can't compare Ruto to Moi. Moi was more lethal. So the issue of the meeting point, I know Raila Odinga must be having a secret plan on how his supporters will converge at within the CBD. The other issue which is also there is the issue of police notification. And I think the government has already bowed to pressure. You know, the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya is very clear that you just notify the police. Okay? But I've seen lawyer Ogola, who threatened to sue Raila Odinga, who gave Raila Odinga some notice over CCTV, state that, you know, that notice, whether it was short notice, cannot stop government from allowing the demonstrators, but it gives the government the right to stop Azimio supporters from accessing protected areas. So the truth of the matter is that there are rules and there are laws that governs a country. One of them is the Bill of Rights, freedom of association, freedom of assembly. Each and every Kenyan has a right to assemble anytime, anywhere. They have a right to demonstrate anytime, anywhere. So which means if William Ruto had tried to stop them from meeting, then they would go by force. But I can see that area, the government has now told them, you can go ahead. The only places they've been told not to go to is protected areas. And the protected areas in this country are actually defined in our constitution. Maybe State House, maybe army barracks, police stations, government installations. There are certain protected areas which are vast. So Kindiki's latest statement, I think, has addressed that. The other secret plan which I think Raila has is parallel meetings in major towns. Something very interesting happened today in Kisumu. I was almost caught up just in the middle of it. Actually, two things. The first incident was when Tom Ojianda organized some youths to walk in what they were calling peace walk, that people should not demonstrate. Then when people saw them, some people went, joined them, but the border guys took money from the same organizers. Then while they were walking, then they just changed their mind. So people had to take off. Then at some point, there were lorries of policemen who were coming all the way from Kondele, for those who know Kisumu, and I think they were headed to town, maybe to the police in CBD, Central Police Station, or wherever. They were headed there. Then what happened was very simple. The people at stage just stopped them and asked them, what are you doing, guys? What are you guys doing here, police officers? Because we don't expect any chaos in Kisumu. The demonstrations are in Nairobi. Why are you being sent here? Are you being sent here to cause chaos to us or to harm us? And that commotion actually lasted well over 30 minutes. And then later on they moved. But the issue is that there are planned parallel meetings in several towns, maybe Kisumu, Migori, Siaya, Kakamega, Mombasa, Kiambu. People just wake up, in those towns to demonstrate. And lastly, the other thing which Raila Odinga is not telling Kenya, which I think is keeping as a secret, is how long the demos will take. So far, nobody knows. We are saying, Raila Odinga is saying he wants 3 demands to be met: the issue of IBC commissioners, the issue of the servers, and the cost of living. Those 3 things. Assuming William Ruto will bulge tomorrow and say, okay, we are going to lower the cost of living, we are going to blah, 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 will the mandamano stop? That's one question. The other question is, if William Ruto will not be able to give in, will tomorrow's demo be the end? And what statement? Because remember, in Africa, I think there are 4 countries which will be doing the same thing. There will be Nigeria, there's South Africa, there's Tunisia, and then there's Kenya. How long will it go? That's also something which Raila Odinga is actually keeping very close to his chest. I don't know what you think. That's my take. In case you're watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or 2, subscribe. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Tomorrow, I think I will need to be live a bit. I'll go to town, record a bit of the happenings there, maybe conduct a few interviews there. Maybe I'll be able to make some calls, and yeah, just that's it. Bye-bye.